And for the third and final time, we are back with the Nerd Log. Oh my gosh, we got so many people hanging in there. I love this. The experience that anyone wants to listen to your voice for more than an hour is always a deeply touching one, at least for myself. We've got two new guests because two is all we need. Austin, why don't you say hi to the people? Tell them what you do at New Relic.
Yeah, I'm Austin, and I manage the Tech Docs team here at New Relics. So that's the team that creates all the content on docs.newrelic.com and then does a lot of other copy work on GitHub and GraphQL schemas and things like that.
And then next we've got Michelle. Michelle, say hi to the people.
Hello, I'm Michelle. I'm a lead writer on the Tech Docs team.
Fantastic. We got the docs people, and we know that the most common thing that when we talk about docs is not people telling us, wow, your docs are great, or boy, there was a time when I needed information, found out the docs, and it doesn't stand out in my mind. But of course, I got to that point, and the doc is maybe technically correct, but there's this little edge case, and I wish it was in your docs. I wish you covered that in your docs. I wish you mentioned that we didn't need to do this path if you've already done this path or something, right? And I always say, hey, we'll get right on that. And very often we do. We've always had a great team of updating our docs. But now we've got something big and new to show the people.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, as you said, we've always had a kind of a team updating our docs, and it's really been like the whole New Relic team, honestly. Like, we have a team of tech writers. They're all great. They're all really great even. And we've had the rest of New Relic pitching in, where we have 300-400, even more relics a year editing the docs. But that's always been an internal only experience. And what we announced just a week or so ago was we've now open sourced our docs. So we've licensed all of our docs under Creative Commons license. We've licensed all of the code for our doc site under an Apache license. So you can go check it out and use it. It's built on Gatsby, which is actually the largest, and we are one of the largest Gatsby sites in the world when we've talked to the Gatsby team in terms of just how much content we're hosting and transforming through there.
Do you have an idea of like just how many pages it is?
Page is a funnily hard thing to count, but we're talking about 7,000 or so pieces of content and around several hundred menu views when you count the docs. But then we also have a dictionary that indexes all of our data that we serve up to the UI, and that needs things. We have our Japanese docs, we have release notes. We're looking at around 7,000 or 8,000 pieces of content all in.
So that is a considerable size Gatsby site, then. That's pretty big. We've open sourced all of it. All that's in our repo, ready to go for anybody to use.
Yeah,
that's pretty phenomenal.
What's the build time on that?
You've touched on the thing we're still tweaking. It's generally around 10 to 20 minutes for an initial build locally, and quicker for subsequent builds. Like, I don't know, Michelle, maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, it does incremental builds, right? The Gatsby system.
Sort of. So we're pushing the limits, particularly on screenshots and images. And so one of the things we've been talking to Gatsby about is like, how is Gatsby 3 going to help increase or improve the build times? Because there is just so much content being processed that our build times are sometimes a little bit wonky, and we're working through that.
Okay, love it. So, Michelle, what are we talking about today? We're talking about how almost anyone, can go and suggest and edit the docs.
That's right. So as you can see, this is our landing page for the doc site, and I'll take you on a little tour. We'll open up the full stack observability landing page here, and I'll just click on a random page. And what I really want to show you is, well, first of all, I really want to show you that we have dark mode now, which is extremely cool, obviously.
Most asked for feature ever, probably.
Yeah, we seem to get a lot of feedback that people like this.
Yeah,
so maybe I'll leave it in dark
polarizing
mode.
Thing too.
Yeah. I know. I hardly ever really go here, but
all our viewers' eyes are now relaxed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know some people with like severe astigmatism, some of them can only use dark mode, some of them only like light mode, right? As far as what is clear. So of course it is, being able to change the color scheme is a pretty major accessibility issue. It's something like 25% of like web users experience some visual impairment. So like it's pretty nice to see that we have a nice liquid view to let people shift that around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're still learning things like, what do we do with these really bright white screenshots or other graphics? But we'll get there. So anyway, yeah, some things to think about when you're here. The big new stuff is over on the right in this area. We always had these feedback buttons, but now when you click them, and I'm not going to do this quite yet, but when you click them, they actually take you to our GitHub repo where you can give us a little feedback. And, if you say yes, we get a little, something like an approved label on our issue that just says, like, thumbs up, we liked this, or no, invites you as a user to give us a little feedback on like what happened, what made it not the page that you needed. So that's great, because we used to have this before, but we weren't able to interact with users. We weren't able to write back to them easily and say, we noticed that you didn't like this page, but you didn't tell us why, what was the problem. So now we can kind of engage, which, I'm sure will give us a lot of really great information about what users are struggling with.
So I don't want to muck up your metrics too much, but
sure.
can we see what happens when you click the no
or
sure.
Yes?
Like what kind of information we're asking?
Yeah.
So it really does just open a GitHub issue.
Yeah, it actually goes in there, and it puts in the page. This one is a negative feedback.
Thanks, Michelle.
Obviously, label.
Messing with my metrics here.
I know. It also tells us some stuff that's helpful, like what's the page? Obviously, that we need to know that, but what's the OS, browser, etc. Sometimes those things actually do matter. And then, we invite you to give us some specific feedback. Just to tell us how to improve. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to pull back the curtain a little bit, like there's two parts to this. One is the GitHub issue. And frankly, we hope when people click this button, they're telling us what's wrong so we can make the page better. Or if they liked it, I mean, that's nice too. Like feel free to file an issue that says this doc was great and here's why, because that's going to make us all feel pretty happy. But also behind the scenes, when you click that, we're firing a custom event via the event API and storing that with New Relic. And then we just have a New Relic 1 dashboard that says, okay, here's the ratio of yes to no votes. Here's which pages are getting the most yes clicks and the most no clicks. So even if someone doesn't want to leave an issue, we're at least capturing that data of, okay, whoa, this doc got 6 no votes in the last month. There's something we need to look at. Or wow, this doc's performing really well. What can we take from this doc and implement elsewhere?
Yeah. So some other feedback or ways to interact with us, you can click create an issue, and that will take you, I'll show you. It will take you to pretty much the same place, but it's just a feedback issue. And we may, you may have ideas for additional information that you'd like to see. So it may be that you weren't complaining or raving about the quality of the page, but you have some suggestions. And we really, we're starting to see those come in, and it's just terrific. And then the other option is to actually edit the page. Maybe you see a typo or, something that is worded incorrectly or something like that. And that you could quickly fix it, and we would benefit, the docs would be better, everybody would, be happy. So to do that, you would just click the edit this file button, and it takes you directly to the page in GitHub, and then you can click that edit button and make your changes.
Yeah, that's so great. You don't need to even clone the whole thing down. You can just make the edit directly in GitHub.
Yep, all you need is a GitHub login to be able to do that.
Yeah, and honestly,
Go ahead. No, sorry, go ahead, please.
I was going to say, and honestly, we're hoping and expecting this is the main path. Like if anyone is enough of a super user that they want to pull the whole doc site down and run it locally and really experience that, I think that's great. And we want it to be really low friction. Like if you find a typo, if you find a sentence that could be more helpful, we want people to just be able to get in and edit. And honestly, I love that GitHub has built a workflow around this, that you don't really have to understand what's happening in Git to be able to just make an edit, which is just fantastic. And it's cool to be able to just leverage GitHub's hard work, frankly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to steal the screen share from you, Michelle, because I know we have an issue that's been opened that I'm going to go and try and fix live on stream. So let's just move you folks over here so everybody doesn't get to see our Zoom call, and instead just use my desktop. So hopefully I should have.
Nice.
Everything's gone well, Mia. I should have stole the screen from Michelle. And we have this issue that's being created just before the stream. And honestly, I just kind of had a brief look at it. So I'm coming at it fresh as well. So like, I'm going to go through the whole process as somebody else is coming towards this. Either if they're going to look at an issue that's already open, or they spotted something on the page and they just want to make the change themselves. Like, you don't need to create an issue to make these kind of like small changes. You know, once you've made the change, you'll be opening up a PR. And at that point, then, you know, we can start that conversation with you about the change. And I think one of the points, Austin, you might talk to you about this before, is like, you don't want people to get too focused on their wording or on their grammar or on anything like that. Like, we have writers that can help them with that. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, it's been our message even internally with all those relics who edit the docs over the years to say, look, we don't want you to worry about grammar. We don't want you to worry about formatting. We have a style guide, but we don't want you to even have to know that. We have writers who do those things. What we're looking for from relics and now from like end users is give us your technical insight. Tell us about your real problems. Tell us what's happening for you. And that's what we really need. And like, we'll worry about the style guide part. And actually, on a funny note, we just updated our contributing.md today because we noticed that we had a header in there about the style guide that was headed style guide compliance. And we realized what we really wanted to communicate. And Michelle made this edit was, don't worry about the style guide.
I love that. It's like, give them one of those polio shots. I mean, anti-polio. You know,
exactly. Let's get the word compliance out of there.
It's not in there yet. I'm making that change today.
Hey,
okay, all right.
It's a big living organism. Okay, so I love this. I think, you know, I want people to give this a try, especially if you feel like a power user and you really have, even if you have big changes that you want to make, you want to have the flow through docs be different. A really good moment would be either because you're getting into a new section of the docs, or you just sent them to somebody else and they got off track. You know, that kind of usability information is of course good as gold to us. So go ahead and, you know, try out a first edit yourself. Let's see if we got good questions in the chat about this. Sounds good. Yeah. Folks, we love it. Is there other stuff that you want to make sure people know about as they jump in?
Well, I want to see the edit, but I also want to say, if even an edit is something you're not quite ready to do, just file an issue. Like, we want to hear from you. I want to have a conversation with you. I'm really excited about that. The was this doc helpful was great, but it's a one-way street. We want to hear what's working and what's not, and then talk to you about it so we can make the content better for like everyone who reads the site.
Absolutely.
So I've got the issue and I've got this page, and I can see, thankfully, I don't need to worry too much about style guide setter because very helpfully showed exactly what needs to be replaced. So I'm going to go open the page itself, and I can see here, this is the sentence that we think we worded. Oh, this is top line, don't replace everything, all right. This is a sentence that could be a little bit better worded. So I'm going to go, I've got the edit page over here. It's going to drop me right into GitHub for the correct page. I can go click on the edit button. So I'm making change of price of write access to. So I need to create a new branch in my fork maybe first. That'd be correct. I'm trying to edit it in a new Relic docs.
I don't know if you even need to do that. Do you?
Yeah, I think GitHub's just going to step you through it. Like, if you just make an edit, it should just queue it up for you.
Great. Let's try and make an edit then. So I have, for some types of data requirements, this is sentence
as a Cormac McCarthy fan, I want to say line 17. We don't need that. We don't need that comma on line 17.
We don't need the comma on line 17.
Unimportant comma, low value data.
There we go. So I'm going to swap it out with this sentence.
Yeah. I had the thing for you. Yeah.
So line 15 is going to swap out, and I can just probably copy link here.
Yeah, but it's just standard Markdown. We're using a few custom React components, but most of the markup is just, you know, generic Markdown.
Whereas it's some types of data is why So I'm just like pop it in like this.
If you can
so
take everything
I place
except for
requirements.
There you go. Yeah, great.
Perfect. Okay, so that was the only 2 changes. I think I need this file. Kind of scroll the whole page down. So do I need to reference the issue or anything in my commit message or anything like that?
That would be very helpful if you did. Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to get the issue number. I'm going to say fixes, rewords, opening paragraphs. Is that are we happy with that commit message?
Yep.
Seems good to me.
Okay, so yeah, it's created on my patch on my fork. So I'm going to create this pull request. So I've got some information you'd like me to fill out here. So it like asks me to read kind of our contributing docs, etc. Tell us why, so we're proposing this change. So I'm just going to like closes issue. I'll just put that in there again as our why. And then I don't think I need anything else in here. I can just delete this stuff.
Yeah.
All that stuff can stay its own comments. So I'm going to create that pull request. And then our CI is going to kick off.
Yeah.
So this is the bit that takes a while.
Yeah. It goes through, it takes, this is the part that we mentioned, takes a while. Lots of checks and lots of pages to look through. And, so I wouldn't recommend that we stay here and look at this.
Yeah, and what's happening on the back end?
This is super unfamiliar to anyone who's never seen Gatsby, been around Gatsby, touched Gatsby, looked at a Gatsby project. And if that's you, you've never seen that like some checks have failed message when trying to do these commits. Yeah. But if it's not you, then this is pretty familiar.
Yeah, and what's happening on the back end is a Slack message will just popped up in our deploys channel, and then we have a writer each week rotating through watching these who we call the hero, and they're just going to look at the PR, and then they'll comment and tell you if there's any issues or questions, or they'll just merge it and it'll go live with our next deploy. This one looked pretty good to me, so I think we'll merge it.
That was really nice.
So how often do we do the deploys then? Is it on like an ad hoc basis, or is it like?
Right now we're doing 3 scheduled a day plus ad hoc. We want to increase that and get to, I mean, my ideal would be deploying roughly hourly, but we've got to work through some of the build issues first in order to build confidence in that.
Yeah. I can see you've got like, what is that format for commits?
Conventional commits?
That's it. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, on the code side, we're following conventional commits. We're not really doing it for the content changes because it's not as neat a fit. Like we don't fit neatly into that kind of chore feat. I'm trying to remember the other ones.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. So many content teams, right, are struggling with the fact that really nice agile tools for doing dynamic sites. I mean, well, there's really Git is just part of the deal, right? Like you're going to have to push a Git commit to make these updates. And, this is a really great way to sort of dip your toe in, right? To start to see what the interface looks like, to see what the concept of commits and accepting commits might play like, to sort of give you a first taste of that before you're, into the command line and branching and merging and doing all that fun nonsense that developers are a little more familiar with.
Yeah. And even if you are using it locally, I've made some larger changes, not to our doc side, but to our developer side, which is built on the team infra. And having this button on each page, this edit page, that jumps me to the source code of where I'm editing, even if I'm doing locally, is so handy. I can immediately see the path here to where the actual document is on my local drive as well. It's super.
If you're like all in on GitHub's ecosystem and you're using GitHub Desktop, which honestly I've switched to from any other, like it just works now for almost everything. You can click the little monitor icon and it'll pull it up locally for you as well in VS Code, which is just like, whoa, that's kind of magical.
Yeah, that's really nice. All right, folks, I really love what we brought in today. We had a lot of really good pieces. Is there kind of other stuff we want to make sure we cover? Because I love that people stayed on, but let's make sure we don't take up their whole day.
I think just get in there and edit and file issues. Like, we're excited. We're already seeing issues. We're already seeing edits. It's great. Keep them coming. We're really excited to be able to talk to people directly about the docs and how we can make them better for users.
Yeah, I'm super excited. The next time we're on, any kind of little conference call with heavy users, people who, are really deep into New Relic, and they mention, oh, we noticed this about the doc side, I'll just be able to say, hey, let's just go do that right now. Let's go. Let's go.
That would be great.
Yeah. All right. I really like that. Thank you so much for coming out, everybody. Aaron, thank you so much for co-hosting and bringing the energy. Super appreciated.
Anytime.
Okay. Allie always makes fun of me for screwing up these closing plugs, but here we go. The Nerd Log is every Thursday at noon Pacific. Follow twitch.tv/new_relic, the New Relic channel, for other New Relic shows, for fun, New Relic implementation stuff, and other kind of product-related stuff. Follow me and Aaron on Twitch, which we'll do a little shout out in the chat, and will also be linked in if you're watching this on YouTube, which it turns out like most of you are, like hundreds of people watch these things on YouTube. So hi YouTube. Go ahead and check us out there. You can follow me everywhere at Serverless Mom. That's me at GitHub, me at Twitch, Twitter. I'm on of course TikTok as Serverless Mom, making various jokes. And yeah, we're gonna raid Aisha's channel right after this. I can't kick off that raid, so we'll wait till the raid starts. But yeah, thanks again for coming out, everybody.